According to Feeding America's website, over 20,000 people in Delaware County, which is the county Ball State resides in, are food impoverished. This means that they are food insecure and they are not sure where they're going to get their next meal. This staggering statistic is the reason people like Kelly Arrowwood exist. At least, that's what she thinks. Kelly is defined by her passions, but her biggest passion is making an impact and change on the world around us. Kelly is direct but kind. She is stern but understanding, and in her position as volunteer coordinator, communication is key. I believe that her use of a purposeful, ethical, and process-oriented leadership style allow her to make genuine connections with her coworkers, as well as allow people to be placed in opportunities that would allow them to give and have the biggest impact that they possibly could. In order to gain an understanding of who Kelly is, we first must know a little bit about her. So Kelly's official position is the volunteer coordinator at Second Harvest Food Bank. Second Harvest Food Bank serves the central Indiana locations and counties, but is based in Delaware County just outside of Muncie. They not only provide food services, as they are partnered with Feeding America, which is a national not-for-profit for food insecurity, but they also do things like provide paper and house products, as well as mother supplies like diapers, because they try to hit kind of the holistic part of the human population here. Different people have different needs, and they don't necessarily always need food. They may need diapers occasionally, so she can kind of change and coordinate with that. Her main duties include reaching out and coordinating volunteers to come and help with the multiple different projects that they have. She does this by reaching out to individuals themselves, as well as volunteer groups and service groups here in Delaware County, also as well as Ball State student organizations that would have a service need in mind. On top of that, she reaches out to local businesses and non-for-profits in order to create meaningful connections with other organizations here in Muncie. They can do this, like I said, because they have a lot of different needs that need to be filled. It's not just food needs, it's also like baby needs and just household needs as well. And so creating those kind of partnerships allow her to make good connections with other businesses and non-for-profits here in this county as well. Her main thing that she's proud of, and probably her biggest duty that she wanted to spearhead herself, was the tailgating event that she puts on every weekend. So every Saturday, she will go in with a few of her volunteers and set up a tailgating event where families can come in and get a box of food that would last them throughout the week. So this is for people who are not only families who are impoverished, but also just individuals who need help. They can adjust the box sizes from anywhere from one person to a family of 6. So this is a really good way for her to kind of reach out and help the community. This is a project she actually spearheaded herself, and so she takes a lot of pride in it, and when we were speaking about it, she was very enthusiastic, so I had to mention it. Like mentioned earlier, in Kelly's position as volunteer coordinator, communication is key. She gets to make a lot of different connections in her job, but she really enjoys the fact that she gets to make connections with her volunteers. She does this by getting to know who they are, their stories, their reasons for volunteering, as well as she gets to learn even a little bit about Muncie just from some of the older people who come around and work. She also takes a lot of pride in being the first face that individuals get to see when they come to Second Harvest. This is a big responsibility because a lot of times she's the first point of contact for individuals to come to volunteer and work with Second Harvest, and so she makes a very strong point to be a good first point of contact, which is something that she is naturally very good at because she's very welcoming and accommodating. She's not in HR. She doesn't deal with anything in human resources, but she has been tasked a lot of times with kind of maintaining the smoothness of the office. And that's in her own words. She has been there for a little over 10 years and has had a lot of experience working, and so she's seen a lot of different conflicts and things go on. So if this were to be like a coworker or two were arguing about which way a project should go, she has the knowledge and the know-how to find good compromise and point them in direction they need to be. On top of that, she's just known as a good shoulder to cry on. She even told me a story one time about one of her coworkers going through a divorce and not kind of being able to contribute, and so she was able to get her help and kind of be that person for her in the office. So she really likes to kind of lend herself out to her coworkers. She really puts herself out there for them, and mostly because she just wants to inspire good work in others. She understands that you need to make good connections with those people or with people for them to care and make an effort, and so she understands that's kind of like one of her main jobs as volunteer coordinator. I learned a lot of important things from Kelly, but one of the biggest takeaways from speaking with her was the importance of being a genuine leader. Brower's article, A Model of Relational Leadership, states that when a follower feels trusted and valued, then they will in turn put out meaningful contributions and work. This is absolutely true in the way that Kelly relates to her volunteers. Many people say they love working with Kelly, they want to come back and see her again, and that's just a true testament to the kind of personality that she has and the ability she has to relate to each other. She is also really good at relating to her subordinates. Like mentioned earlier, she's a shoulder to cry on for those individuals who need it, or she's there to kind of conflict resolve for those who need it as well. She wanted to reiterate to me a couple of times that having your followers in mind as much as your goal is important, because even though you all are serving kind of a high pressure situation where you're kind of helping for the well-being of other people, it's important that you understand that your followers and your volunteers are also human and may need some help. So Kelly Underwood is a shining example of someone who puts her full heart into her work. Whether it be gaining volunteers to do her Saturday tailgates or comforting a coworker who may have been going through a rough patch in their life, she leads with her whole head and heart. Her ideas impact people. She sees needs and fills them, and she wants to be the person that makes the change. She believes in her heart that it is her purpose.